So I've marked my spot on my stone with a Sharpie, and I've started to cut this line across here using this cut off bit for my Dremel. And what I've been trying to do is try to keep just the very tip of the blade flowing under the water to keep it wet enough so it doesn't get hot. Because if I lift it up or do anything, I have to do it pretty much like this. Otherwise, this is going to spray everywhere. Like I said, I don't have a shot for this. I just do it in my bathroom sink. Mask and glasses. Get my glasses on. So what you're going to want to do is pass slowly over in one direction. Just keep passing slowly over one direction. Because if you go back and forth, you're going to end up getting unstraight lines, and then your blade's going to bind, and you might end up cracking your stone. Hell, I fogged up my glasses pretty good. Alright, here we go. One of these days I'll figure out how to edit videos where I can speed up this process. But you can see my line, I'm starting to cut through it. I'm going to go ahead and get this done, not have to make you watch the whole thing. So something I want to point out before I go any further, for those of you that are just starting in the lapidary world, like I did about 2 years ago, when you're cutting a stone with a Dremel using a cutoff blade, like this one, you want to steadily make passes slowly across the stone in the same direction over and over again to make a nice clean cut. If you start going back and forth, the blade's going to vary just a little bit on its path, and it's going to make an uneven cut. Then you're going to have more work to do cleaning it up. Another thing is that you can cut till you're almost all the way through and then snap it. But something that happens with that is, if you look, see, if I'm holding this thing flat, you can still see where the piece was holding it together. There's still a lip sticking out a little bit. So when we go to clean that up, using our sintered diamond bits, that's going to take extra time to get that down level to the rest of the surface before you start smoothing it out. So I'm making another cut right here. And when I get done with that cut, I'll show you what I'm saying. I'm going to go all the way through with the blade, and I'm not going to snap it off, even though it's pretty much close enough to do so now. Okay, so you can see there's that little lip sticking out from where I snapped it off before. Then I made this fresh slice, and look at how clean that is, just from passing through it. I kind of missed this last little spot, but that's just because the stone was long this way, and I kept bumping into it with my Dremel. I could have extended my shaft a little bit, but I was almost through, so I just kept on pushing. But you can see, if I can get this focused, that lip is super pronounced right there. That's sticking out a good, almost a 1/2 millimeter. Whereas this edge that I just cut is relatively smooth already. So yeah, you want to keep cutting, keep cutting. It's going to take a little while longer. You need a little more patience. But when you snap it off, it's going to take even more patience to rub that edge back before you start rubbing back the entire side. Trust me. All right, so been a little busy. Doing as much as I can. My arthritis is starting to flare up, and I got to take a stopping point. But you can see I'm almost there. This is the last cut. This actually, I got a strange thing happened. I ended up seeing a crack. I was putting the light, my big bright gym light, putting my light to it and looking at which part was like the best face, and then I noticed, shit, there's a crack running right through, pretty much right along the line that I scribed on it. And I barely grabbed it, and boop, it just popped right off. So that's going to be a lot of grinding, but it'd be a lot easier than trying to run a saw blade on that little tiny sliver. So I'm just going to grind that off, finish cutting that off, and then this is going to be piece of stone, I better pull this up in case I drop something, that I'm going to put in between this cabachon. It's going to sit something like that-ish. And I'm going to polish it up and shape it to the exact same marquee shape that I've got going on here, this pointed oval. But, like I said, my arthritis is freaking killing me, and I gotta take a break, and I'll come back to it. But that's where I'm at so far. Alright, so I finished cutting all my cuts off, and I got my little piece of jade that I'm gonna cut to be the match of this void, and polish it up, and then make the perimeter line of the marquee cut symmetrical again. I'm thinking about just epoxying it on another stone like this. So I'll have like a triptic stone piece with a stone backing, and then once it's all epoxied together and solid, then I can cut that off and then just grind this so it's all perfect, rather than trying to make this match the lines of these stones and blah 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 blah. But anyways, work in progress.